RVA Today is made possible by today's sponsor.
Welcome back to RVA Today. I'm your host, Naomi Brackett, and today's sponsor is the William and Mary Raymond A. Mason School of Business. And I'm so excited to welcome to the show Ram Ganeshan, and I want to make sure I get your credentials right. You are the D. Hillsden Ryan Professor of Business there at the Mason School of Business. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And I know that your specialty is supply chains and logistics. Now that's something I don't know a lot about, but that's so important in the business world. Well, let's talk about some of those aspects that you're seeing. So you guys are currently monitoring maybe some big upcoming changes. What are you seeing kind of on the field for supply chains and logistics?
Well, if you think about what a supply chain is, it's just a story of a product journey. If you take some of our iconic brands like Apple, and everybody has a smart device, although it's designed in California, there's literally thousands of businesses and hundreds and thousands of people in over 50 countries that are procuring the components, manufacturing it, distributing it to the customer, and then servicing it, repairing it, and then eventually recycling it. So what has happened in the last 20 years is supply chains have become very complex, and they've become very global. Like I said, for Apple, 50 countries.
That's a worldwide product.
Exactly,
right?
50 countries are involved. Not only that, but it has also become what I would call concentrated. So some of the smart semiconductor chips that go into your smart device are really only made in 3 countries, South Korea, Taiwan, and Japan. So any small disruption anywhere in the supply chain ripples through the entire supply chain. And we saw that during COVID.
Yeah, we sure did. That caused some big upsets. Are you seeing anything like that maybe upcoming? I know we've had some big political changes, you know, upcoming this year. Are you anticipating any major changes to this field, you know, maybe next year and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, it remains to be seen what the policies are going to be. But one of the things that has been mentioned is having a tariff, for example.
I've heard that buzzword a lot.
Yes. So since many of our companies, like for example, Apple or Walmart, has a large China footprint, has a large foreign footprint, it's going to increase the cost of doing business.
Right.
And if history has been any indication, that cost is typically borne by the customer. So that's one side of it. The other side of the story, of course, is, you know, why even have a tariff? And that's because we want to develop our own manufacturing, not only to reduce risk, but then to employ the American worker. So if it can be done the right way, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
I love that. So what are you thinking that businesses should be doing to prepare for something like that?
Well, one thing they can do is start thinking about redesigning their supply chains. So how do I diversify my suppliers? Should I be only in China? Should I have a local manufacturer? So it's supply diversification and trying to think about how you manage this risk of imports, the risk of possibly curbing talent that might come to the United States. But at the same time, we want to sort of improve the American worker. We want to improve American-made products and then have the pride of American manufacturers. So it's like a two-edged sword here.
Yeah, a very complicated field. Let's bring this into the classroom, right? So now you're a professor at the School of Business, and we've talked about all these little micro and macro influences on the supply chain. How is this kind of global perspective really important to your executive MBA classes?
Well, I mean, if you think about who we recruit for executive MBA, these are proven leaders already. So they have about 10 to 15 years of experience as leaders. But what we add to the mix is give them a global perspective, first of all. So we have a lot of immersions. We call them global immersions. So they spend a week, for example, in China or Singapore, or in the Middle East, Israel, in the EU, in South America. They get an idea of how business works there. And at the same time, they also learn about the culture and the food. So that makes them sort of gives them a global perspective. And the second thing is we have a leadership development program that not only helps them reflect on their own leadership skill, but makes them think about how they can be leaders in the dynamic environment that I just described about being global and connected.
I love that about higher education. I really do think that you can get perspectives that maybe you can't get within your normal business world.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming by to share that information with us, Professor. This has been so interesting, so enlightening.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah. If you have any questions about anything you've heard today, or if you're interested in learning more about that Executive MBA program, you can head on over to mason.wm.edu for more information. Thanks so much for watching RVA Today. I'm Naomi Brackett, and we'll see you next time.